this is our second go at starting this. So if you're watching this now and this ends up being the one we actually did, then this was our second go. But then again, we don't do production. We just do. We do the bit in front of the camera. We leave the people with the real brains to do the production side. Hey guys, hope this works well this time. Thank you for joining. Doe and Co with Niall Horan. Can't wait. Oh, both of them have requested immediately go live with Andrew Cole. And then I'm going to go and find Niall straight away as well. Okay, fingers crossed they can both jump on. There you are, Colty, and hopefully Niall is right behind you.
I can see you now. Here he comes.
There he is.
There he is. Look at that.
Well, look at this, huh?
Hey, look at that.
Look at that.
You? Oh, I'm sorry he's next to you, Colty. There's nothing I can do about it, mate. It's the way Instagram arranges it.
Yeah, but I think we've all got the memo.
Jesus, Colty, you've never looked so old, mate.
Oh, right, that's enough of that.
Oh,
that's
wow.
enough of that.
Niall, how are you, mate? We gave you the big build-up on our last one, but obviously it didn't work because you couldn't get the technology to work, mate. So we had to do it again. But, you know, you're a megastar, but you're also a half-decent player as well and my partner. That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm known for, really, these days.
Oh, mate, how are you getting on? You all right?
Yeah, man, I'm great. I'm good.
Oh, mate. Great. Right, so
what have you brought with you to drink?
Oh, little gin and tonic.
Oh, good lad.
Nice.
Good lad.
Nice. Nice.
Right,
what are you on?
I'm on a gin and tonic.
With the flashing ice again?
All right.
What?
Okay, I'm on the AM PM IPA.
Oh, we love
that.
that.
Change you up tonight. Yeah, I thought I'd go for a little IPA.
Yeah, great.
Probably get your name in the label or something, have you?
No, not on this one. Oh, hope not. So,
let's get into it. Niall, yeah, great having you on the show. Thanks very much for coming. Congratulations, obviously, the latest album, you know, Heartbreak Weather, up there at #1 in UK, which is sensational. And of course, you've got.
Nice,
good lad.
Nice. Nice. What are you on?
On my own album as well. So I've been working on my album probably since around last September for radio promotion, TV performances, and all sorts for our song with Anne-Marie, and then making my own album at the same time. So it's been, to be fair, I did nothing for about a year.
Holiday.
I was on holiday for a year in the four walls of my apartment. But yeah, it's been good to get back in the mix. And I don't know when I'll tour or whatever, but I'm sure you'll probably ask me that at some point anyway. But yeah, I don't know when I'll tour, but for now I'll just live in the studio. And you know that our song is just about to jump into the top 10 this week in the UK, so it's going well.
You know, we're going to be sorry, mate. We're going to be chatting a bit of golf with you, obviously. And we talked a lot recently about the fans starting to come back and what that means to the golfers. But for you, I mean, like you were just saying there, you're not being able to talk. One, how badly has that sucked for you, especially with a new album that's gone to #1 that you can't talk as you normally would, right? Yeah. And how much of it, like, how excited are you to be able to get back and see all the fans again?
Yeah, that's the best part of what we do. You know, I'm bored in the studio. You know, apart from, you know, writing the songs, the rest of it's quite boring. You know, you photo shoots I could do without, any of the other appearances I could do without. It's all about getting up on stage and really like hearing the words sang back and seeing arenas full of people enjoying themselves. People are at their most relaxed, and it's a place to go and release themselves, you know, from the madness of the world. And I'm a music fan and go to a lot of gigs myself, and we've all been deprived of that over the last year. So hopefully now, with doors opening up, we'll start to see gigs in some shape or form come back.
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't be alarmed with the large numbers that we've got here falling. Nick and I get this all the time. In fact, we've only ever got 58,000. We've never been to 60.1. Yeah, I mean, they're down tonight on what they have been, and obviously these people are in for a shock when we start talking about golf.
I'm sure your last 60,000 was Rich Beam.
Yes.
Listen, you've played in front of thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Wembley, packed Wembley, all that kind of stuff. You were in the BMW Pro-Am last year, probably in front of, I think, I can't even think, was there even anybody there at that time? I'm lost. I'm lost with this COVID. Yeah. And yet you profess to being incredibly nervous. How's that when you can stand up there in front of all those people and you're bricking it in front of a few people in the first tee, you know, only at Wentworth?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I brick it when I play golf without people, to be honest. Brick it when I play with you boys. No, it's just when you're out here, everyone's going to say this. You know, I mean, if I handed you a microphone and a guitar and told you to stand on stage at Wembley, or maybe not after a few pints, but it's tough to get up on a tee box in front of people playing a sport that you're completely average at anyway. And in front of people, you know, the thought of hitting them, which I've done, and just like when you're out of your own comfort zone, it's a tough ask. I do enjoy playing in the pro-ams. It takes a few holes to get into it, but it's a tough ask. And then you've got the crowd who also think they're professional golfers as well, and start, oh, what was that? Or if you hit a bad shot, I feel like handing them a club sometimes, but. It's not an easy ask, but it's
no. Tell everybody. I mean, apart from being handicapped by having to play with Doherty when you go out in the golf course, tell everybody what you play off.
I play off about 9.
Brilliant.
When I played with you boys last, I definitely didn't play to that. I started like a scratch.
You won under after 5. You won under after 5.
You were a bandit. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That chip in the third, wasn't it?
Yeah. For 3, net 2.
I meant that as well.
That was painful.
Talking of when it like going out on a stage with the guitar, that's right up there with things that would wake me up with a cold sweat. That, mate, in front of all those people, it's right up there with the dream where I've got a chance to win the Open and I take the driver back and the shaft turns into a piece of rope. It's right up there with that one as well. Let's talk a bit about practice, because we know, like, as golfers, Andy and myself, it was all consuming, probably too much so, and all professional sports people are like that. It's 24/7. You eat, sleep, and breathe it. In music, though, as a musician, what does practice look like for you, especially a time like this? What does that look like? How do your days look?
Well, I guess I always have a guitar in my hand. There's a piano in the living room. I'm always playing that, so it's kind of not like set times or whatever. But I could be watching TV, watch a game tonight, and I'll always have like a guitar in my hand, noodling, doing something, and then over time you get better. I probably get most of my practice when I'm on tour, because you're consistently playing for an hour and a half every single night. And I found, like, my guitar playing and my singing, my voice gets stronger the more shows you do. Muscle memory, you get up, you sing it better the next night. You know, I suppose it's like being on tour for 4 or 5 weeks in the golf. You know, you start, well, it can either go 1 or 2 ways in golf, but, like, you know, when you're solidly, consistently hitting good shots, you feel good over the ball. Same sort of thing. And then when I'm in the studio, I mean, it's just constantly playing the same thing over and over and over again for 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 hours sometimes. And yeah, just that's where I'd probably get most of the practice.
Amazing. The funny thing is, because we know you as in our world, in golf world, like, most of the time I spend with you is when we're at Wentworth or you're at golf tournaments, or we're talking about some of the things you do within golf, which we'll get onto. I just see you as Niall, just the guy who loves golf. So I see a different side, but I'm very aware of, like, when you see the following that you have on social media. So the question I want to know is, can you go to Asda?
I know I do. I could go most places, to be fair. There was a period of time where I couldn't. When I was younger, maybe I was 19, 20, 21 or something, walking down the street wasn't even an option. And to be honest, even if it was, I had myself convinced it wasn't.
Right.
You know, it's kind of, one person takes a picture, it's a bit of a stampede, and then it kicks off. These days it's a little bit more chilled. I don't have the blonde hair anymore, so that kind of helps. Yeah, no, it's been all right, and you know, I'm a bit older. I've dealt with it for long enough, so if it does kick off, I know how to deal with it. You know, I was thinking about it the other day. I've been doing this for 11 years this year, which is nuts because I'm only 27.
Yeah.
But like that. So yeah, I can get out and about.
Now it's really interesting hearing you answer that, because, you know, we're hearing an awful lot about mental health in sports. There was a young guy over there in America last week. He actually played well again, but he's been having his troubles. And that's Matthew Wolff. You were thrust into the limelight at an incredibly young age. How were you able to deal with that? Because, you know, nothing could possibly have prepared you for it. You were still chasing your dream, but there you were, and now every single person wanted a piece of you, and there was nowhere to hide. you know, you seem to have come through that incredibly well.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know. It's obviously in the genetic makeup there somewhere. Part of that would be being Irish, I'd imagine. I mean, this is the least humble thing you could say, but we're quite humble people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, like, if you're acting out of line, you'll get, you know, slapped back, straight back down, cut at the ankles, and be told to get off your high horse.
Yeah.
There's definitely a bit of that. And then after that, I don't know. I just kind of just rolled with it. I think a lot of it, in a way, was lucky I had all the lads around me. You know, you see solo artists that kind of lose their path a little bit because everyone around them is a lot older or whatever. And, you know, growing up, if you like. And I just rolled with it. I just seen it as, I didn't see it as a job. I seen it as we were just having fun. We always seen each other as like very normal guys from very working class backgrounds that just happen to do well and do this really abnormal job. That's the way we always used to say that. Like, we ended up calling one of our 1D tours the Where We Are tour, because we used to just walk around going, look where we are. I know that was literally that's what it was. Because it was just mind blowing for us. I started when I was the summer of late summer in September of 2010. I only turned 17, and that's when it started really. So it was kind of just school kids basically going around a tour bus and planes and stuff like that for a few years, and it was a good laugh and kind of in a way madness, but it definitely mature. You know, I got to mature a lot quicker, and luckily enough, mentally, I never really struggled. I had moments where I was like, you know, I'd like to go outside, or, you know,
of course.
But never really struggled mentally, thankfully. And but it's a great, you know, if I did, I think I'd be one to talk about it. I'm very like, say what's, you know, I'm a very heart in the sleeve kind of guy. And you see it a lot in sport, because we're, you know, it's a lot of, especially team sports, quite manly, and you see Prince William doing stuff with the FA and things like that, and Matthew Wolff. You say it's good that these lads are talking about it. It's great. It's a great thing that's happening.
Good, raising great awareness for it. But you know, you mentioned as well about you and the lads and being there for each other in the background. But you know, you don't fit the stereotype as a young man and a megastar in music with that background. Why golf? How did golf come about, and why?
Well, obviously, first of all, I love golf. I've always played it since I was a kid. Being Irish, obviously, it's a big thing. And then just as I grew up in the band or whatever, got to know a few of the lads. A good friend of mine, Mark McDonald, there grew up with Justin Rose, so I was introduced to Rosie quite early on, and also he was good mates with Rory Mack, and got to know Rory a little bit from just being around the golf and going to events and walking up and down the range and being in the lucky position that I was. And then they're just normal lads who have ridiculous talent and kind of similar, you know, I wouldn't say ridiculously talented like myself, but you know what I mean, like it's ridiculously talented like they are, but you know. And got to know the lads, and then just would kind of walk up and down the range, and you know, just from knowing people and hearing stories and stuff like that, you would hear of a lot of young lads that just kind of turned pro, kind of being mismanaged, if you like, and not know where they were playing on Thursday on a Tuesday morning, or you know, we were promised this and then we weren't given it, invites, etc., corporate sponsors, you know, whatever, travel, social media stuff. And I was just thinking, like, you know, if I was to have a chat with my music managers, all of that stuff is in place. You know, I was like, so should we start like a sports management company, and let's start in golf, obviously. You know, and see if we can grab some young guys when they're just turning pro, top amateurs. We have all of the corporate stuff in place. We've got the social media, we've got the travel team. We have all of that already. It's just about man management now. Obviously, we can all for them. We've had this chat before. I've explained this to you in private. You know, obviously can't hit the ball in the hole for them. I wish I could. But, you know, you're going to, you know, we can do everything else off the course for them. and try and make them as comfortable as possible, and try and not be the guys who say, I'm going to get you this number of invites and blah, 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 and then not do it. I'd rather I'd fight from the off instead of fooling people around, because these young lads are under enough pressure. There's turning pros, you know, is a big, you know, big mount to cross, and thankfully it's going well so far.
But I mean, on top of that, though, of course, you've set up the ISPS World Invitational, a tri-sanctioned event between the LPGA Ladies European Tour and the Men's European Tour. 144 players, men and women, playing the same golf course. You know, where did you get that vision from? Why and what has that been like when you've set all that up and watched it go?
It's been mad. The way it's taken off over the last few years. We started it as we'd kind of taken over the Northern Irish Open on the Challenge Tour at Galgorm Castle. I think you've played it there. You played it, Nick, have you?
I did, yeah.
And we've kind of got involved with the Challenge Tour, and you know, it was great. You know, coming from the kind of the grassroots, and think about the players that Challenge Tour has produced over the years. It was just great to be involved, and obviously, you know, now it's turned into a European Tour thing, but, you know, before it was just a Challenge Tour event, and we'd have players, and we'd have invites for our players to go and play in that at least, and if they did well, they'd get invites elsewhere, and it was kind of that way, and also trying to grow the event side of the business and not just be player savvy.
Yeah.
Because I never really wanted to have more than 10 players and still don't. So that's how it started, and then we did 2 or 3 years with the Challenge Tour, and then that became... and it wasn't sanctioned. It was just a Challenge Tour event, and we had ladies to come into play. It was just a World Invitational that wasn't sanctioned, and we were able to give them equal prize money. And Stephanie Meadow won the ladies section, and then afterwards we got heavily involved with ISPS, and Dr. Handa and the European Tour and LET and the ladies PGA, and everyone has just been fully on board, and to have sponsors like ISPS really throw money at the wall in such a tough time has been crazy. To think that we've got a tournament happening, you know, at the end of July in the world that's just happened in the last 18 months is crazy, and we're going to have some big names, especially on the ladies side, playing for not what is now. I can't believe it's gone up. It was 2 million. It's gone up to 3 million. So it'll be 1 point each. 2 courses over the first 2 days, and then the cut goes down to 1 course, and it's been unbelievable.
That's incredible, mate. That's a tremendous job to be able to not just to put something on, but as you said, to actually raise the profile, raise the prize fund. That is incredible work, mate, at this stage. Well done.
Yeah, it really is. Go on.
Sorry, I just have to say, while we're here, all credit to Keith Pelly and some of those guys, and even Mike Wan before he moved over, and you know, the guys at the LET, it just really, really pushed to get this prize fund up and make it the event it's going to be, you know, with the cameras in there, in a good, and it's slotted in a good spot around a couple of different tournaments at the end of July, which is great. And to be fair, all of my ideas that I've had from even taking over the Challenge Tour event, Keith Pelly has always been right there with me, and really trust us to kind of, you know, take the reins and stuff like that, and never once said no to anything that I've thought of.
Superb. Brilliant.
Yeah, I think, and I was going to ask you about the management group. Obviously, Modest Golf Management. You mentioned Mark McDonnell, who, as a co-founder, obviously found Danny Wardrop, who I actually grew up playing amateur golf with, who's one of the main managers there. But, you know, your list of players is amazing. Obviously, you've got Tyrrell Hatton, who climbed to world number 5, obviously, after a brilliant start to the season. Leona Maguire, who just came second on the LPGA. She's climbed towards that top 50 in the world rankings now. Brendan Lawler, who obviously is part of the Edgar, which we do a lot with the European Tour. So, you know, what you're doing within the game and shaking up, I think, is remarkable. And Guido Migliozzi we'll get onto in a second because of what he did at the US Open, which was incredible. I suppose just to wrap this up, though, you are clearly doing so much and shaking up what needed to be shaken up. And that's probably why Keith is so far behind you. He knows the power that you have coming from the world that you do. Do you think the perception of the game, though, is changing? And what more can people do you think, to make it speed up that?
Yeah, I mean, it's all like any sort of big change. It's going to take a long time. But, you know, that's why I'm here. I'd like to try and help in some shape or form, like you boys are doing. You know, you boys felt like you could give to the TV side of it. and and give player knowledge to people, to folks at home. And they're the kind of small things that we have. And also, if you look at the top 20 in the world, on both men and women, they're all my age and younger. Like John Ram is a year younger than me, won the US. Like it's insane when you think about it like that. It's becoming a much younger game, and as I've always said, I'm not going to go like this with the needle. I'm not saying that I'm ever going to do that, but what I would say is that, with the following that I do have, like, look, there's 30,000 people here. If a small percentage of 30,000 people watch this, and then pick up a golf club,
absolutely,
that's moving it. And we're never going to do it overnight. But I mean, I've gotten so much enjoyment out of golf, and I've been until about 2 years ago, I was completely average. Still completely average, but like a lot worse. And I've gotten so much enjoyment out, just by joining the local golf club when I was a kid, and having the laugh that I did. And I didn't particularly come from money. It wasn't like, I think people have this perception that it's a really posh sport or whatever, but I got amazing enjoyment out of it, and still enjoy it to this day. And it'll be a game that I'll play forever. And just, if you're watching this, do the same.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, superb. Absolutely. These people that are watching, people like you, changing the way golf looks, and hopefully bringing a lot more younger people who would never think about playing it, the notion to maybe pick it up at some point. You mentioned Ram. Did you get a chance to watch that last week? I mean, that was just phenomenal, the US Open, and how that all panned out.
It was brilliant. I had a feeling he was going to stick in there. I mean, I'd seen him. Obviously, he won the Farmers a couple of years ago, and then I actually was there when Rosie won it the year after, and he and Ram were in the top two again. He came second there, so he's always played Torrey well. He said he got engaged there. He obviously knows that area quite well. He likes that course. He said it reminds him of home, and he always just plays solidly. He obviously knows his way around that place, and it's one of those places that you really need to know. So he's learned it quick, and then it was just amazing to see him stick in there when Rory and Bryson kind of made the mistakes, and there was roars happening left, right, and centre. He was still sticking in there, and he scared Louis. I think that a couple of the roars on the put on 17, was it? The put on for the day, and really, I think he scared Louis. Then Louis had to stuck it into the gorge there on the left.
Great players do tend to hit great shots at just the right time, and they stand out. I suppose a lot of people would look at what you do, and because of how they look up to you in your profession, would maybe assume, well, you don't have anyone like that. When you watch these guys at the top, whether it be Tiger in his prime or Rory when he's at the very best that he can play, are you in awe of these guys? Are you starstruck in that sort of way to a degree with these athletes?
Well, I've gotten to know them, so not as much, but yeah. Some of the lads, especially Tiger. When I met Tiger, I was like, this guy, he looks like when he walks past, he doesn't walk, he floats. He has an aura about him. Some of those, some of the skill level, when golf is kind of like tennis, when you go and see it live and you see the skill level involved, it looks like a stick and a ball in a field. You see what these boys, the shot shape and the divot, just the aggression to get the ball so far. It's just, just the power they have over the movement of the ball is just unbelievable.
Just why I wasn't around to watch you play, Andy.
Listen, your shot shaping's pretty impressive. I'll tell you that one, 45 degrees straight right.
Tree's getting away, man.
Yeah, that block.
Oh, that's a beauty. If you hang around long enough, it'll appear, don't you?
Yeah, the designer put the fairway in the wrong bloody place.
like that one on 18.
Oh, all right. I thought we were on the same side, mate. Now, you're on my team. He has a partner. You don't need to be getting on his and having a go at me.
It collapsed the same way the next time it happened, when some other poor sod was holding him up.
I had radar the next time. What chance they have? Just before we finish up, let's just quickly chat Miliotzi, because I know as much as obviously he's with your group, I really like this story. I was speaking to Mark today, actually, Mark McDonnell. He was the first guy that you ever sound. It must be quite a sentimental thing to see him in his first major finish fourth at the US Open.
Honestly, this weekend I felt like we'd won every tournament.
Yeah.
we had second we're fourth at the US Open. We had two lads at second on the Challenge Tour. We had we had Leona coming second. It felt magical. And Guido, this is exactly why I wanted to get into golf. Basically, I should have actually answered you when you asked me that question a minute ago. This is what I should have said, because this is what I wanted to do: get a young amateur before he turns pro, and watch him do something like this. Go off and do big things. Guido's won twice in Europe. He plays his first ever major, finishes fourth, gets himself into the Masters and the US Open next year. It's just and jumps up into the top 70 in the world. And that's why I really started the tournament. Met Guido when he was the #1 Italian amateur about 5 or 6 years ago. Got him his invites. He was always great fun. He was always in awe of all the other golfers. We brought him to the Ryder Cup Hazeltine, and he was walking around taking pictures with Fowler, and he met Del Piero in the hotel, and his brain nearly fell out. He was just a really passionate Italian. He loves his golf, loves his football. Yeah. Really good, really great lad. And to watch him go on and do what he's done, stay humble, know that there's a lot of work to be done, really wants to get into that top 50, wants to compete in majors. Yeah. And the that he put on was unbelievable this week. Obviously, the coverage that you boys give him is really good, because he's a strong player in Europe. But to be so young and to put on the performance, and you look at that stacked leaderboard on Sunday morning and see his name slotted in the middle of all of them great golfers was amazing. And he feels like, I was talking to him yesterday, he honestly feels like he could walk through a wall right now. He's just one of those people that's real determined and what really wants to kick on.
He's had 3 second places as well this year. Listen, we're talking about, and I don't want to put any pressure on him or anything like that. Is he aware of how close he is to the Ryder Cup? I mean, that would be a stunning story.
Yeah, we from day one, I've always seen him as a Ryder Cup player, even before he was doing anything. I've always just thought he'd be because he's really passionate. He gets into it, he's throwing fist pumps around in the second hole. He just loves it. He knows what great shots mean, and he will, if he makes it in there, and how close he is right now. If he makes it in, he'll be an unbelievable Ryder Cup player, I think.
Yeah,
passion, his team mentality. He'll make a great Ryder Cup player, and I think he just wants to kick on now. He got in. Based off his 4th place, he got into the Travellers this week. So he's just thinking about that at the moment, and kind of, wants to get into the top 50. He's at 72 now, I think. Wants to get in. So he's thinking about it incrementally. And, if you get those bits, you get into the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's on fire, and a great story as well. Right, we're going to blitz through the little segments that we go through with you, Niall. First of all, preview this week. We're not going to do Travellers. We're going to do BMW International Open.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through some of the players. Andy's going to do the pick side, but just to preview, some great players have won this tournament now.
Yeah, no, this
some great players have won this tournament. Els, Lyle, Doherty, Azinger, Montgomery, Doherty, Bjorn, Daly, Westwood, Doherty, Jimenez, Stenson, Keimer, Wallace, and Doherty have won it, mate. I mean, an incredible list of champions.
I never played it. I never played.
But they've got a good cast as well. Go on, mate.
You wish you won it as many times as you met yourself there.
No, that's true. I got lucky that time. But the cast is great because Hovland's made the trip over. Victor Hovland, Loira stays, and obviously who just missed out at US Opens, made the trip over. Wiesberger, Garcia, Keimer, obviously an important event for him was just after the passing of his mum back in 2008 when he won it. So a great field. So Andy, go on. You're going to do the pick. So this is what we do for people who've not seen it before. You're going to have to explain for everyone, Andy. We've got a new audience.
This is a little competition that Nick and I run. He gets to pick one, I get to pick one, and at the end of the season, we'll see where it lies and the point differential between how well these people have done. Unfortunately, I've got the ignominious position of actually saying to Nick that even if I won this week and picked the player, I still wouldn't close the gap and overtake Nick. I am that far down. I am 167 points behind. It's really, really embarrassing. But the best bit about that is I'm not telling anybody. Anyway, the guests, we're 3-3 with the guests.
Yeah.
Right? The guests have rallied the last couple of weeks. Faldo, Beamer have played a blinder. They've had a shot. So it's you to keep the run going for the guests who's your pick at the BMW International easiest tournament in the world to win?
I tell you what, like as far as European Tour events, this is right up here in terms of the field. Obviously, missing a couple of the European lads to the Travellers, but this is a big one. All the big dogs are out this week. Sergio coming back, Hovland making the trip, etc. How was Hovland's injury before I answer that?
We don't know what to make of it, do we, Andy? I mean, you always take people at their word, but a bit of sand in the eye is a new one for us, isn't it?
Oh, really?
Jamie Spence once pulled out with a fractured eyelash, right? But I wondered whether this was kind of up there in a similar vein. I, if you pardon the pun, think he'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah. I'm with that. Yeah.
All right. I think he's got the game for it, 100%. Louis in good form too.
Yep.
I'm going to go Hovland. I think he can beat most on his day.
All right.
He always plays well when he comes back to Europe as well. So, and it's his kind of course.
Right. A bit like Nick, picking the favourite.
Oh, well, I mean, listen.
Well, he's only got one eye there, remember, because of the sand.
Well,
what I would say is it might be a bit too short for him as a course. So I might be wrong. And I think that's what brings down.
I'm a big hitter, and I've won around there now.
Yeah, he hits it 300, Nick.
Yeah.
300. We're going a bit.
Yes. Yes.
Go on, Colty, you're
I
up.
think that's a good pick. I'm going to go Keimer because I think there's shoots of good golf starting to sprout from him. Tied 26th at the US Open. Things are trending in the right direction for him. Of course, he's back in Germany. He'll have the home support behind him, and he's played well around there in the past. So I'm going with him. Who are you going to go with, Nick?
Okay, I'm going to go for Louis. In spite of the fact that people might think he's a bit bruised after that loss, his game works everywhere. Yeah. But also, he has a history of bouncing back immediately. So when he lost the playoff to Bubba Watson in 2012, he immediately went a long way around the world to Malaysia and won by 3 strokes the very next tournament. So, there's no surprises why you pick Louis for his game. His form is obviously there. It's whether or not he's got the hangover of the devastating loss, because he looked good, didn't he? Right at the start of that back 9 on Sunday, he thought this is Louis to lose, and he did, unfortunately. Okay, so we got Hovland for Niall, and then a bit of Keimer action for you, and I've got Lewis Hazen. All right, perfect.
Good.
Right, we're going to move on. Tea time, time out, this one. So this is 2 things. It can be golf related. It can just be anything in life. So there's 2 things. Something that's taking the jam out of your donut, first of all. So something that's getting under your skin you're not happy about.
A few things, to be honest. I would say if I was to try and make it golf related for a second, I would just say if I could putt, I'd be a decent golfer. I think you guys could see that.
What about the slice that you've got with the driver? Do you want to put that one near the list as well? Or?
If you could pick a better partner.
I mean,
yeah.
If we get someone else to play it.
We didn't have enough shots, mate. I'll take responsibility.
If I could putt, I'm a terrible putter. I think I can hit lines, but my pace is horrific, and I think that until I get that fixed, I don't think I'll ever kick on to the heights that I should be at, lads.
Okay, fair enough. That's a good one. Give me something that makes you feel like you've dodged all the divots in the landing zone. So something that makes you feel good. What's making you feel perky right now?
Something we spoke at the very start. I think crowds coming back to sport is making me. Crowds coming back to sport and gigs and whatever it may be. Feels like we're turning a corner even in the last sort of 6 weeks. The fact that I think the RNA said there's going to be some sort of they're doing the testing the Open at 32 or 33,000 people.
32,000 people, yeah, amazing.
Which is going to be unbelievable to think that there was no Open last year, and now we're going to have, the guts of 30,000 people there every single day, and I will be there, bells and whistles on. Cannot wait. Unbelievable. Obviously, the last time
he's coming in the open zone. Then,
am I?
Well, I'm asking you now in public so that you can't say no. This is an official request to Mark McDonald on Doe & Co. Can Niall please come in and see us on Sky Sports Golf in the open zone? If he says no, it's fine, but it is on the record here.
No worries. I get my
Mate, we can't wait to see you down there as well. We know you're doing a lot with the RNA. They brought you on, but again, an example of how governing bodies around the world see the value of what you bring to what's going on. So we'll look forward to seeing you down there, mate. Go on, Colty.
Absolutely, yeah. This next little section is just to remind people that Nick and I used to be able to play the game, because you know, it's a long time ago since we both stopped playing, and we run out of ideas and not ideas. We run out of good things to try and find on one another, because there was that few and far between. But it's called Once Upon a Time. We ruled these lands, or rather, we had a patch of garden that the sun shone on between 2 and 4. Nick loves Nick. He loves me.
I like that. He loves me. I'm the creative director for this show.
Verbatim out. It's at this point that I completely disregard that and go my own little way and say to you, you have achieved an incredible amount. You get the top in music, and you're putting an enormous amount of your time, money, experience into golf, into a completely different platform, into golf. What has given you your biggest thrill?
Oh, in life, in general.
Yeah, absolutely. It might be something that a lot of people won't expect. You know, a lot of folks maybe think it'd be music. It might not be. It might be the golf. It might be music. What you know? What was it? What sort of make, you know? Not the music. I can imagine the hairs on the back of your neck standing up. But you know, the other one. I mean, you look at the mirror and go, "That was absolutely fantastic." That you know, that completes me, kind of thing.
The Albert Hall gig must have been a bit special, mate, for what you did there as well, what you achieved.
Yeah, the Albert Hall was amazing. The only thing about it was empty, and that was when you finish a song and you have library silence. It wasn't the greatest thing, but it was just incredible to have that room to yourself and just jam out and make a load of money for the crew that were up to that point moneyless and not looked after by the government. It was good to be able to do that. Greatest thrill. I remember stepping on stage at Croke Park in Dublin to 85,000 people.
Yeah,
you know, I'd gone to rugby games and going to football games there for years, and seeing it packed with sports fans, and then going in there, knowing that it's basically the biggest gig in the world that you can do stadium wise, because it's a horseshoe, and you can put the stage at one end. And just knowing the sheer size of that was just huge. And I remember we played 3 nights there, but I remember walking out on stage the first night just being like, look, I've made it. You know,
That has been incredible, mate.
Oh.
Same with Wembley Stadium, same sort of thing. Like to play, we were going around the world for 2 years at one point doing stadiums, and stepping out on stage, and you're like, as a football fan, going and playing the San Siro, and then Inter Milan's dressing room as your dressing room, and things like that. They were amazing moments. So I would say
the high of that, though, mate, the high of that feel, I can only imagine the high of that buzz. There must be quite the crash when that finishes.
Oh, it's weird. Yeah, you're getting to, you know, you come straight off the stage into a car back to the hotel room, and with a police escort within 10-15 minutes you're back in the hotel room. Door closes, security closes the door, you lock the door, and then it's just, I have room service.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Looking
but you can't sleep, can you?
No, it takes hours to come down from something like that. That was always the part you'd never get used to. You could get used to out on stage and knowing that the people were going to come and see you, but you could never get used to walking off stage, going into your room and just like kind of looking around. No wonder some people went mad.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Coltart, maybe you were meant to be a musician then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't need that to go mad.
But it's like, you know, you just say if you're to win a tournament or something like that, and you get into the car or whatever after all of the trophy presentation and the people are clapping and blah blah blah, and you get into the car and it's just like, just you and the caddy just off to the next tournament or whatever. It's just a very real feeling. People think that you come off stage and it's kicking off parties every night, but when you tour as much as we do, you know, it's not a party every night.
You know what? I noticed that with the when I interview the guys now. Obviously, I only had the privilege of winning 3 times and over 300 goes. So when it did come, it was euphoric. But when I interview guys who do it all the time, I'm always amazed at how just matter of fact it is. Because I sort of think, oh my God, what, he's just won much bigger tournaments than I ever won. It could be a major championship, and yet they just think, wow, they're just used to this now. Like, this is, they're riding, they know that they obviously feel amazing, but at the same time, this is just what I do. It's an amazing thing, the top level, which is obviously in your arena where you compete. Right, Tea Time tip requests, mate, which for you actually is just questions from the audience, because as much as I'm sure you've got some great tips on golf, we do try to help the people on this rather than make them worse. So we'll go for Paul AFC 11 wants to know, would you swap your music career to win a major?
Whoa! Don't come at me with questions like that.
That's a good one.
4 or 5 majors, I'd swap it, yeah.
4 or 5? We'll go 5, right?
Yeah, I take 5 majors over a career, 100%. No, I mean, they're 2 completely different things.
So you wouldn't swap with Rory then, because he's only got 4.
Fair, Nick. Yeah, exactly. To give up my own career, I'd take 5, but that'd be a tough ask. I do absolutely love what I do. You know, it's something that it's all I ever wanted to do since I was a child, with toy guitars in my hand and singing into microphones and showing off and stuff. It's all I've ever known. So I don't think I can swap it out that easy. So 5 majors.
Right, you're amazing at it, pal.
Good question.
At Org Haru wants to know your favourite golf course in Ireland and why.
God, that's a good question. You know what? Down south, I haven't played a lot of golf. A lot of these famous courses. I'd moved to England when I was 16, so I didn't play a lot of some of the great golf courses of Ireland. Mullingar Golf Club, where I'm from, is kind of a really well-known amateur course in Ireland. Holds a scratch cup that all the lads have won. Clarkey, Harrington, Rory, Lowry, all the lads. Rory still, Rory can pick out holes in it when we talk about it. He's remembers it so fondly. And I love going back there. It's a decent track for like a small market town. Apart from that, I mean, it's hard to look past Portrush. Apart from take the Open aside, I played it before the Open, and it's just unbelievable. The scenery, first of all, is as good as it gets in golf, and just the design of it is just incredible. It's you think you're doing well at it, and then you're not. When you turn into the wind, like all links golf, but there's something special about Portrush, and I'm so glad it got the Open. And and Shane, a man from the island, went on to win it. I mean, it was so special. Shane's from about half an hour down the road from where I'm from, and just knowing what it's like to be from that area, and then for him to go off and do that on the island, it was just the closest thing we had to Tiger winning it, effectively.
God, it was incredible.
One of the great opens at one of the great open venues. Royal Portrush will we remember forever. At Dan Jolly with 2 Y's at the end. If you could have a 4-ball with anyone from all walks of life, who would it be?
Wow. 2 boys.
Stop
God, that's a that is a tough one, to be fair. All walks of life. Haven't watched The Last Dance. To play with Michael Jordan, knowing he's a golf nut. I know Luke Donald's knows him quite well, live near each other, and I actually when I was watching The Last Dance, I was asking Luke what's he like, and Luke was saying he's a top guy. So Michael Jordan. If Arnie was still with us, I think I'd with Arnie. From what I've gathered, I was lucky enough to meet him at Augusta one year. He then went on to write a letter afterwards when he had been told by his granddaughters who it was or whatever. And it was just amazing to have the Bay Hill Arnold Palmer letter and have it framed and stuff. It's incredible. And I've heard just amazing stories about him, and the stories that he tells about times on tour and flying his own plane and all sorts. It sounds like he was a hell of a character. So probably Arnie, Michael Jordan, and I just have to throw Tiger in.
Really?
Yeah. You
wouldn't throw a musician in there then?
I've Justin Timberlake's a hell of a golfer. I played with him on quite a lot. So he's probably the only one that I can think of.
So you're not playing with any. So in other words, your biggest thing here is I'm not playing with any crap golfers.
Yeah, I
don't. They have to be decent. So rather than what they are, who they are, it's more like what level are they at?
Yeah,
he's done that before.
He's played with us, mate. He's played with us, so he's already lowered the standard massively. Get away, get your fingers away. Right, okay. So there you go. So we're going Tiger then, right? So Tiger, Arnie, and MJ.
That's a good day out, I think.
That would be.
We can't organise that, but we can organise a rematch with me, Colty, and Stuart Wentworth if you fancy it. So we'll do that until, but we're working on it.
Right, cheers.
Oh, I don't know. I might be busy that day, Nick. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Right, listen. We've got this stage. Shut the front door. This is called. You've got 2 stories. We're running out a wee bit of time. 2 stories, true and false. And us and the viewers are going to have to try and guess which is which. So fire away if you've had time to think about that.
Okay. Yeah, I've thought about it. Got two good stories. First one is I played with and beat Barack Obama in Washington, D.C. in 2017 when I was there on tour. His girls are big fans of the band and used to come to the shows with Secret Service and all sorts.
Right.
So when we were in town and he was around, I got to go out and play around the golf with him. And anyone that knows me knows that I'm a Barack Obama nut. At one point, the boys in the band bought me a life-size statue of him for my 18th.
Is this all part of the story, by the way? This is all part of the story.
No, that's as far as it goes. Weirdly enough,
where do you put the statue?
It was in the back garden on a bench. He sat like that, smiling in my back garden for about 5 years.
Oh, okay.
And then he was weathered by the English weather. And then my other story is that I have played in a 4-ball with 3 major champions at the same time.
Playing the 4-ball with 3 major champions at the time.
Well, I think that's going to be false.
Well, he knows him though. What? Okay, I got a question about the Obama. What handicap is Obama player?
It's about
Obama.
30.
30?
Yeah.
So you actually beating him is not really the achievement there.
No, I was just happy to be playing with him.
I think Obama story's true.
Yeah.
Is that what you're going for as well?
Yeah, I'm going for the Obama story.
Okay, we're going for Barack Obama story's true.
No, it's not.
It's not. You play with 3 major champions.
Yeah.
In 1 4-ball.
Yeah.
Go on then.
It was we were down in the Bahamas after the Masters every year. I go down with Rosie down to the Bahamas.
Of course.
And as you know, Adam Scott lives down there too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Scotty, Rosie,
and so does Henrik Stenson.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It was that's probably one of the biggest thrills of my life.
You must have been bricking it on the first tee there.
Well, luckily enough, it was Rosie's mum's birthday that day, and we'd had a few rosés. So
took the edge off.
We were quite relaxed when we turned up, and then it ended up with us playing a lot of golf, and then me and Henrik Stenson singing Swedish House Mafia. All.
I love
Tremendous.
That. That's
well
fantastic.
Done. Very good.
Right, mate, before we let you go, because we are nearly out of time, tea time, take it again. So these are 2 shots from golf. One, and they could be yours, or they can be someone else's. So a shot that was so good, first of all, that you'd want to see it again.
Yeah. I thought about this. I had a couple written down, but there was one that stood out. Do you remember Rory's 3-wood into 16 at the Irish Open at the K Club?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
I happened to be standing behind them because the way the fairway shapes around, where I was standing behind the ropes, I had a proper view of it. And I mean, the green looked like that.
Yeah.
From where we were. And when I seen that off,
a hell of a shot.
Up and followed it on 18 as well, but I remember 18 was easier. He was nearly home and dry, and he stuck it to feet. But the shot on 16 fed it to the left, on the left side of the green. It rolled down to about 15 feet, that was under pressure one of the best 3-woods I've ever. Three wood's obviously a hard club to hit under that pressure, and I've never seen anyone do it like that. And it was just in Ireland, the K Club, all of that as well. It was just that was incredible. And he hadn't really had a good record at the Irish Open around that time, weirdly. And then we went to the K Club and he did that. It was pretty cool.
And of course, Ireland can look forward to him teeing up in the Irish Open coming up as well in a week's time. Next week, isn't it? Next week, Irish Open, I think. Right. And one that wasn't so good. In fact, it was so bad, you'd like to let them have it again. Have another go, sort of shot.
I want to take away, and we all know him, and he's a great guy. I want to take nothing away from Danny Willett winning the Masters. Absolutely not, because it takes a lot to win a major championship. It takes a lot to win most weeks, but it definitely takes a lot to win a major championship, especially at Augusta. But I would have loved to have seen what would have happened if Jordan Spieth hadn't dunked it in the water on 12. And I would like to see him retake the shot on 12. Because he was
the first one, the tee shot, or the one from the drop when he drops.
Well,
the tee shot.
Either or.
Take
your pick. In the first place. You know, I would have loved to have seen what would have happened then. Or I was thinking about another one as well. I know you didn't ask me for two, but I'm giving you one. If I get nothing away, absolutely love Serge, but I like being mates with Rosie. I would have loved to have all that put in the playoffs because it was a sad state of affairs on the plane afterwards.
I can imagine. I think of another shot though that you probably have. It's just sort of slipped by your memory, but it's one that you probably should remember. Is that actually at Augusta National as well? Because I know there was one of you guys had a chance to break 80 at Augusta and needed a par at the last, but then you hit that slice that you're excellent at it. You've got that slice into the trees on the right, made a double. Would you not like that one again? Weren't you completely demoralised after not breaking 80 there? Or
I played the round of my life at Augusta National. I'd never played, so I cannot believe that I'm saying that I played Augusta National multiple occasions. It's incredible even to think about it. I'm standing on the last. With what was it? I was standing on 79 or something like that. I just needed to par it or something and double bogeyed it, and I was absolutely disgusted. It felt like I shot 102. Like you couldn't talk to me afterwards. I played so well. Par, birdie 13. I was on fire, and then just hit into them trees, and it's impossible up the right hand side of 18.
So you two have a bit of a track record of choking, then, don't you?
Everyone chokes, mate. Everyone chokes. It's just the amount. Mate, well done. Thank you for your time. I know Andy's going to say goodbye in a minute, but I just want to say it's always fun to hang out. We will get our revenge in the match against Andrew Coulthard and Stu, inevitably, because they're just not very good, to be honest. But I want to say thank you for what you've done for golf as well, because obviously we're passionate about this. Is our sport, this is our lives, and it is for a lot of the people watching as well. And this is really important to us. And what you are doing is making the necessary shift in the game and taking it forward and making it more open to all the people. So not on behalf of golf, because we're not that important, but thank you for making it better for all of us to enjoy, pal.
Thanks very much, lads. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. No, just a pleasure. I just want to reiterate that as well. You are making golf cool. You're bringing a lot of people into it. But more importantly, you realise some things needed to move forward. And you stood up there for an awful lot of players and people alike, and you've given them a great opportunity. So we take our hats off to you for that. But thanks very much for coming on, mate. We wish you well. And we only lost, 40,000 viewers, Nick? That wasn't too bad.
That's good. It's less of a drop-off than normal. Andrew, what's your favourite Niall Horan song, just before we go, so I can have a little listen when we finish on it?
Black and White.
Really?
Heartbreak Weather, yeah. Like that.
I like one. I like Put a Little Love on Me, Niall. That's my favourite.
Yeah,
big fan of that.
Nick?
Yeah, it's a bit of me, that. Mate, thank you for hanging out. Congratulations with all the success with our song and Anne-Marie as well. And mate, we'll see you at the club. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned, Sky Sports Golf this week, and we'll see you soon. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, folks.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks.